You want to know another reason why I hated my 9 to 5? And for those of y'all who are new to my channel, I used to work a 9 to 5. I worked there for 6 years and I finally decided to take that leap of faith and run my own business. And I've been doing that since. For the past 4 years, I've been my own boss. And I will never forget all of the horrible things about that 9 to 5. It was a very toxic environment. They talked down on me. I was the youngest one there. It was the first job I had gotten outside or when I graduated from college, and I just felt like I had arrived. Okay, I was making 60,000. I didn't have any kids, so that was plenty of money for me. This was pre-COVID. Okay, times have changed, but back then that was plenty of money. One of the things that I really hated about working a 9 to 5, and not just that one, but any job I had, was the fact that you had to ask for permission to take off for a vacation, whether it was a doctor's appointment, whether something was going on with your family, like whatever it was the fact that you had to be at the mercy of somebody else and whether or not they were in a good mood or not to let you take off. And it's crazy because in their minds, in management's minds, they felt like they could tell you no. But for me, it was, I'm letting you know that this is what I'm gonna do, whether you approve it or not, like this is what's gonna happen. It's like they didn't understand that. It's like they really thought like they could tell me no. Like you can say no all you want, but I'm still taking this day off or I'm still gonna take this week off or whatever. And I'll never forget I had just bought a house. Well, before I bought a house, I was so excited about it, building it from the ground up. And it was like, I'm 27 years old. I'm buying my first house. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm so excited. And of course, the department knew, right? People would ask questions. And because it was the first time I had bought a house, like the whole process was just new. Like choosing out the floors, choosing out the cabinets, choosing out your lot, like finding a builder. Like it was just a very exciting time, right? And as we were getting closer and closer to closing on this house, I knew I wanted to take at least a week off to move, get settled, and just enjoy being in this new house, right? And, we had saved for, I want to say like 6 months to get all the money together. I worked hella overtime to get that down payment money together, and we finally did it, right? And I had requested this time off. I, if they, I think the process took like 6 months. I had requested this time off like 8 months ago, but it was still tentative. It was still kind of like, this is around the time that they should be done building the house, but I'm not too sure because of weather and if they can't get certain materials, supplies. Like, sometimes it's not like right on that day, but it's around that time. But either way, they had about 8 months notice. Like Jasmine was closing on her house. They knew this, right? And so management was like, yeah, no, that's fine. We get it. We've all built houses before. Like we know how it works. Just keep us posted, whatever, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. So getting closer to town, so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting my first house, right? And the day is getting closer. Everything it's just coming together. So finally my realtor let me know, hey, the house is done. Like we can close on this day. Are you ready? So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm ready. Like I'm about to be a homeowner, right? So I sent an email because you always had to write emails, just as a paper trail for when you were going to request off. Even if you told them face to face, like you still just had to write the email, right? Okay. So all the paperwork is coming together. And if you've ever bought a house, like it's a lot of loan stuff that goes along with it, like them verifying your employment, and they keep verifying that you work there, right? It's not like they verify one time when you get approved, and then they just continuously track everything to make sure like you still have the funds to afford this house, right? If you've ever bought a house, you know how difficult the whole process is and just how tedious it is. So, I'm just, trying to stay on my P's and Q's. They don't like me, I don't like them, but I'm still buying this house, right? Okay, so we're getting closer. I tell them the date and everything. They're like, yeah, that's fine, whatever, whatever. All right, cool. So literally the day, no, 2 days beforehand, two people had called out. I guess they had like the flu or something. They were calling out for something that was going to be a while. Like they weren't going to come back the next day. And it was a very small lab. It was a total of 15 of us. And yeah, it was very, very, very small. 15 of us, including management. Like it was 10 techs, two front desk people, and then three management. Like it was very, very small. So anyways, two people had called out because their kid was sick or it was something like that. And they were going to be out for a while, right? And I had already put in my time off. So it was going to be three people off in this week, right? And then the day before, the day before I was scheduled to take my week off, someone else called out and said they had whatever, right? Stomach bug, I don't know, something, and they weren't going to be able to come back for a few days. So now it's going to be a total of four of us off. Okay. Let me tell you what management tried to do to me, okay? So she comes to my desk and she was like, Jasmine, so-and-so called out and then the other two people, they're off because of their kids or whatever. So you're not going to be able to take tomorrow off. Tomorrow isn't the day I'm closing on this house that they knew about for 8 months. I said, what? They're like, yeah, you can't take tomorrow off. We're going to need you. And yeah. Y'all, I was like devastated. Like, and just remember, I'm 27, okay? So I'm still pretty young and naive to like everything. And I'm still just like very fearful and just like very frantic and antsy. And just, you guys, if this happened today, me being 33, I wouldn't have had this reaction, okay? I just want to keep all this in mind, okay? But just remember, I was still really, really young. And I'm buying this house. And all I know is that the bank is going to call to make sure I still work here. So I'm just like freaking out at this point. So they were like, yeah, so you can't take tomorrow off. I was like, I have to. I'm closing on my house. Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, and she had like a little smirk on her face. She's like, yeah, I know, but you know, things happen. Just see if they can switch it for another day. You guys, I went into the bathroom and started crying. Like I was crying. And it wasn't like just one tear here. No, you guys, I was freaking devastated. Like I was bawling because I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Why are they doing this to me? They knew months and months and months in advance that I was buying this house. Why would they tell me I can't take this day off? Oh my gosh, you guys, it was a freaking nightmare. The whole day, like, it's like they took my soul, okay? It's like they literally took my soul. That's how I felt. Like I didn't know what to do. I was torn because I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want anything to mess up me closing on this house, but I'm still trying to figure out. We have only had a small amount of people in the lab before when, you know, people call out vacations or whatever, and everything worked out just fine. I'm trying to understand, why are they doing this to me? So I was freaking the fuck out. So anyways, it got closer to time to clock out, right? So I had just told her okay. Like I wasn't even going back and forth with her or whatever. I just told her okay. So anyways, getting closer and closer to time to clock out, and I'm like trying to figure out like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? Like, I have to close on my house. And on top of that, I had furniture that was going to be delivered the next day. Like, movers were coming. Like, we were literally going to close on the house and move that same day. Like, it wasn't going to be days. No, it was all happening the next day. So I'm like freaking out. I'm so sad. Like, they took my soul. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just like lost, you guys. I'm so lost. So, anyways, this is how you know. This is how you freaking know that some people are just evil spirits. Like, this is how you know. So I'm getting ready to clock out, and the lady who told me that I couldn't take off or whatever, she was the one that like completely disliked me. Another black woman. Like, it is sad that it has to be like that. Like, she was old enough to be my mother. But anyways, she was the one that always gave me a hard time. So as I'm about to clock out, she was like, Jasmine, did you talk to your realtor? Are you going to be able to schedule another date? And she was literally moving her hand like this. Like as I'm doing it, she was doing that too. She's like, are you going to be able to schedule another day to close on your house? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay, good. Just keep me posted on everything and we'll see you tomorrow. I said, okay. I clocked out, you guys, and I didn't come the next day. I still closed on my house. I still closed on my house and nothing happened. The bank was able to verify that I still worked there. Nothing happened. And so I didn't call and say, hey, I wasn't coming. Like, cause it was already in the email. Like I was taking this time off. It was already documented, yada, yada, yada. So I didn't call and say, hey, I'm not showing up. Like I just proceeded with what was on the email, because remember, face-to-face interaction and conversation, like that has nothing to do with it. It always has to be documented. So I still closed on my house. I still took my week off. They didn't call me and ask me where I was at or nothing. Like, I was just freaking out for no reason. But the point that I'm making is the fact that she felt like her telling me that I can't take off and it was like of some type of warrant, like it mattered. Like, I couldn't get with that. And that wasn't even the first time that they did stuff like that when it came to like life events for me. Like, they did that a lot. They did that a lot. Like, I remember I had requested a year in advance because I was getting married. I had requested a year in advance to take off because we were going to do the wedding and all of this stuff. And it was all fine and dandy. Everything was fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just let us know when you lock in dates, whatever, whatever. And then as time got closer, then it was, oh, I don't know if you're going to be able to take those days off. But that's the shit that they that's the shit that they used to do with me. Like, I could not stand it. And I used to let them work me up all of the time about stuff like that. And it just got to the point where I was just like, fuck it. Like, if I'm taking the day off, I'm taking the day off. Like, you're not going to tell me when I can and cannot take off. But I say all this to say, like, it's like certain people at a job, like a 9 to 5, especially like management, like if they are higher ups, it's like, I feel like a lot of them, like they go on this power trip. Like, they just love to like fuck your day up. Like, it's like they get a thrill out of it. You know what I mean? It's like they just really, really love fucking with you, especially if they don't like you. And then it's like they're just waiting for that reaction to come out. Like, they want to see you look mad. They want to see you look devastated. Like, they just want to see what kind of nasty reaction they can get out of you so it can just make their day. So, you know, if you are struggling with your 9 to 5, if you're trying to figure out like, should I quit? What should I do? Like, I'm telling you, no job is worth your happiness. Yes, we all have to pay bills. I understand that, but I'm just telling you, like, there's always a way out. And I wish that I had this mindset that I have today back then, because it would have saved me a lot of headache and just being irritated and frustrated and miserable. But like, me being young back then, and that was like my first high paying job in a sense, even though it wasn't six figures, like, I was making more than my family. I was making more than my friends. Like, the fact that it was just like, you know, my first high paying job, like, I really was so afraid to do stuff because I didn't want to lose it and end up working at McDonald's, because I used to work at McDonald's and I hated it, right? So it was just like, they always just used fear to fuck with me. Like, any opportunity they had, they would. But as I got older and they kept doing it, because I was there for 6 years, like I said, it's like you just get to a point where you're just like, you know what, like, fuck all of y'all. Like, fuck all of y'all. I don't even care what you do at this point. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of stop giving a fuck. And that's what happened. Like, I really just stopped giving a fuck. But y'all, I have stories for days on that 9 to 5 and just all the stuff they used to do. And I feel like a lot of it was because I was the youngest one there. I was very naive. I was just kind of like timid, and they just didn't fuck with me. Like, they fucked with me enough to hire me, but then after they hired me, it was like downhill from there. Like, anyways, I just wanted to share that story with y'all, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.